Hello and welcome. I'm Xlight and this is my channel. And today I'm going to tell you a story that my dad told me. Now, I always thought it was my dad's story to tell and I haven't told it. But he passed away and I think that now it's my time to tell the story. I was there. I was just a child. So, let's talk about this, shall we? And if you would please give this video a thumbs up. It helps my channel. Leave the comments below. That's going to be particularly important for this story. And that also helps my channel. And if you want to share the video, please do so. So let's get started. So, when I was about 5 or 6 years old, we lived in Washington State. That's where I was born and raised. And for some reason, my parents decided that we needed to move to the furthest possible place on the map. So we moved to Florida. I have no idea why. We really never talked about that part. But when my mom found out that there were tree frogs that would jump out of the trees on you and cover the grass, and then we were there for a hurricane, and then she saw a cockroach the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, and it was time to hightail it back to Washington State. We did this both times by driving. I had a brother who's 2 years younger than me, so imagine the fun that was. Two things I remember about that drive in particular were we had an 8-track, you guys, and my mom listened to this blue 8-track tape of an Elvis album the entire way there, the entire way back. Only little breaks for the radio. What I also remember about that is how little Exit Light was starting to bloom into her exit lightness. And on the radio would be the song that said, "Play that funky music, white boy." And I would sit in the back seat and say, "Play that fucking music, white boy." And my parents didn't hear me say the difference. And that was one of my proudest moments as a child. Well, as an adult as well. I did that often. Anyway, so on the way back, we were in the middle of nowhere. Bumfuck Egypt, my dad would call it. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was on a road that wasn't particularly traveled during the day even, let alone at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we were stuck on the side of the road. So we had a spare tire, but my dad, being my dad, God bless him, didn't know how to change it. And neither did my mom. My mother didn't even know how to pump her own gas until she was 40. So, you know, she was pretty helpless. We sat there, hoping that somebody would drive by and help us. And sure enough, about 2 hours later, a truck drove by and stopped, pulled over in front of our car. A station wagon, by the way, and backed up. And the guy got out, older gentleman, walked up to the driver's side. My dad rolled his window down, and the man asked, is there something I can do? My dad said, "Well, I need to get this tire fixed, and I don't know how." That's got to be a hit, right? A hit to your ego. So the guy goes, gets the tire out, starts to help my dad, finds out but the tire is flat. Won't do any good. And it's really old, so it's not a wise choice to even use it in the first place. So he says to my dad, jump in the truck with me and I'll take you to get a tire. Now, my dad thought this could go a couple of ways. He's going to kill me, or he's going to help me get a tire. And by the way, this is where some of my exit lightness comes into play as well. Because my dad was into true crime before anybody was into true crime. They didn't even call it true crime, they just called it crime. So my dad talks to my mom, and is sitting in the car with us, and letting him leave with this guy, and possibly killing my dad and coming back and killing us. That was an option. So they go down the road a bit, a couple of miles, my dad said, and there was a dirt road on the right. There was a mailbox that had a last name on the mailbox, which I'm not going to say because I'm not going to say it. They turned right there, and they went for about another 3 miles or so, my dad said, and they turned in to this man's driveway. He had taken him to his house. Well, he was retired, but as a side job, he sold tires. He had owned a tire business, and so he kept some of that business going for his regulars and his friends and his family. So he went in, got a tire, came back out with it, and took my dad back to our car. The man put the tire on the car, and my dad thanked him profusely and he drove away. So my dad decided that he should probably go to that man's house and pay him something because the man hadn't even charged him for the tire. So after a few minutes, we leave the side of the road. My dad doesn't see the man's taillights ahead of us, but he knows, where he went. And he sees the mailbox with the name on it. But he said it looked different. But it was becoming kind of, early in the morning, and the sun was just starting to rise. So he thought maybe that was just the difference, the lighting. He drove down the dirt road, and he went for 3 miles. And he saw the man's house, and he pulled in, and it was an abandoned home. There was no tire shop. He knocked on the door. There was no answer. The shop the man had gone into to get the tire was not there. The house was dilapidated. It looked like it had been empty for 20 years. That spooked the hell out of him. Also, where Exit Light started blossoming ghost stories. And my dad chose to believe that that was an angel. What do you think? Was it an angel? Was it a time slip? Was it a ghost? I think probably for me, I would say time slip. But my dad thoroughly believed that for the rest of his life that it had been an angel. Now, I have another story to tell you that my mom believes, swears up and down, that something happened to her there was an angel. I'll tell you that next time. Thank you for coming to my channel. I'm going to leave a link below to my Etsy store where you guys can take a look through, see if you want to buy anything to support my channel and get something pretty or something minimalist that you'll enjoy as well. Good night.